Here we go. Now you can share.
Okay, so this ancestor came. This was after I'd had a conversation with Christ for a while, and I just asked if there was anybody else on the other side of the veil that needed to teach me something or communicate with me. And this ancestor came, and I don't recognize them. I still need to get on my family search, and I know which line it is and everything, but I don't know their name. And so they were just teaching me this principle of how to let negative emotion go in real time, and which was really helpful because I know we've talked a lot about behind the curtain, and that's kind of in my mind, that's dealing with things that have already happened. You have a fracture holding something. Anyways, it's very applicable in real time though as well. And so
Mm.
I was asking, okay, I said, teach me. I would love to know how to do that. That'd be amazing. So you're not holding it and, like just going on and
Yeah.
on in this vibration. So he was telling me that you can be as creative as you want to with this. So he just gave me some visuals. And one of them was that I could just stand in a river and I could imagine this negative energy just flowing out through my hands down into the water and being carried away. So that was one of the visuals that we had. Another one was just creating a pillar of light, and that was very much like behind the curtain, but you would imagine this pillar of light coming down, and you would take whatever it is, and you can do this in whatever way you want to imagine it coming out of your body. And one thing that's helpful is to imagine, where is this in my body? Like I'm feeling fear, where am I feeling it? Usually for me, that's in my stomach. But
Wow.
you could feel it in different places depending on what it is. Grief is usually in my lungs and heart area. So if you're whatever you're feeling, imagine that being pulled up and out, and then you can place that into that pillar of light. And
Mhm.
that can go all the way up to Christ. He can transform it and then send light down of the equal opposite of whatever it is you're feeling. Another thing that he showed me that was really fun is he just showed me this white, like sparkly dragon. And I don't feel like I'm super imaginative, so this was fun for me. It was just, I kind of laughed and like, whoa, what are we doing here? And this big, sparkly white dragon came up and just like I imagined pulling the energy out and giving it to the dragon, and he consumed it. And then he breathed this fire of light over me to replace the energy with the opposite emotion vibration. So that was super fun. I had noticed that my mindscape is a beautiful garden now. There's no curtain. It's just a beautiful arched, flower covered arch
Oh,
that I walk right into. And but there were some weeds there, and so that was a fun part. Is the ancestor was like, "Oh, look at this weed over here, and look at this plant over here. They seem out of place, you know?" And then he talked to me about, what is this? What does this represent in your body? And then I was able to go through some of those exercises that he taught me. So,
mhm.
and it was so fast and so easy. So I feel like you could do this driving, you could do this in the shower, you could do this cooking dinner, whatever you're doing throughout your day. Just take the biggest step is being aware. What
Yeah.
am I feeling? Do I want to feel this? And then being willing to give it away and receive something better.
Holy cow. I love that. Does anyone have anything that you've experienced like that, or any thoughts on what Chelsea just shared?
I have. Um, Visualizing is starting to come for me, or to imagine. I've had a few episodes like that have been kind of guided a little bit. But the big thing that has helped me so much, because until about a year ago, I really was not good at feeling my feelings. I
Mhm.
would run from them. I would do anything, keep as busy as possible to not feel them, to be as much outside of myself as possible because I couldn't connect. I'd escape into books, I'd escape into movies, I'd escape into anything until I'd realize I was escaping, and then it wouldn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Catch myself.
Yep.
But what has made the difference for me, and I feel like it was given to me in this timing, so that by the time I was doing Keith Redford's program, or going through the process, I needed to have other skill sets in place to deal with those feelings. I couldn't just, I just couldn't create a new altar that to hold it. I had all these holders, and that was my go-to thing. I didn't know it at the time, but I learned anyway. So what has made a difference for me has really been diving into EFT tapping, which
Ooh.
is something that you could. Artie talks about that. He guides people through that, but and does classes. But there's classes and people all over the
Yeah.
internet
Yeah.
how to do that. And I have learned that I could release my emotions or release negative feelings or tap in positive things that I wanted, and
Mm.
just through learning to do tapping. And I can sit and do it in the car. I can do it wherever. You probably shouldn't in the beginning, but even if you're just tapping on your collarbone,
Mhm.
while maybe you're having a conversation with somebody that's.
And you're just sitting there.
Yeah, yeah, you're just sitting away. Like I'm thinking about phone calls where I might be feeling a little bit stressed with something my kids are telling me or whatever, and I'm just tapping away.
Good for you.
And that's been a really great way to just release emotions in the moment.
Wow, I love that. It's conscious of them, becoming self-aware,
Yes,
being. Maria, isn't that something you said today? You're like, I'm just wanting to be.
it's
Oh,
great.
love that. I love also what you shared, Chelsea, as you were describing. I'm like, oh my gosh, today, I wouldn't say that I was having a panic attack, but I definitely had like my heart was on fire with anxiety for like an hour straight. And I was like, oh, like what do I do with this? How do I function around my kids without just snapping because I'm so on edge right now. And you mentioned a river, and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I saw something when I was feeling what I was feeling. Um, and I do believe that I was like, nope, I just need to see light. And when I did that, I started like touching and naming my body, saying I'm putting light here, and I felt tingly all over. And I think it helped. It didn't like make it go away 100% right then, but the rest of the day was good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was processing like in the moment. So I love that you taught us that. Thank you, Chelsea.
Welcome.
Mm.
I just wanted to add to what Sherry said with the tapping. I was talking to my sister about this because she has done healing work for a long time. And she said if you're in public and you can't tap, like you can't physically tap, it would be awkward. Just pray that your angels will do the tapping and you can just think through the things that you're trying to release and that you're trying to add in.
Wow.
So, like maybe even like sitting in church or something like that, you could just pray for your angels to tap those points and you can just say the things.
Wow.
That's a great
I-
suggestion.
Yeah.
Another thing with the river and with water is to feel yourself being filled with living water
Mm.
that's healing and feeding and washing through you and cleansing you, and maybe throw in a little bit of balm of Gilead with it.
Aw.
And just like make it powerful water.
Make it your own. I
Well,
love.
and and celestial.
Mhm. There's along those lines, everyone here is aware of Ali Duzette and her incredible work. She's got videos and books and all sorts of stuff, classes. Yeah, yeah, she's just so cool. And one thing that I learned from her that keeps coming up for me, she called it scribbling. And she's like, something about taking a crayon because they don't run out of ink, and just get a piece of paper and write the crap I'm going through. You can name it specific or you can be broad. Or this issue, we can't buy a house. Ah. And then you scribble and you just keep scribbling. She says this might take like 5 minutes, and your hand will do all sorts of motions. and it's processing. It's like kind of letting it out in the river and that feeling. And she says, when it's done, your hand will naturally start making like an oval and you'll find yourself doing a consistent shape. And she says, once you find that shape, then you'll know that you're done for that moment. For her, she did that for like 2 weeks straight, and her issue with not being able to buy a house, that was her example. She's like, we bought a house within that month when I did that. And, and it, like all of a sudden the blocks went away and she's like, oh my gosh, like this works. And I thought about that and I'm like, oh my gosh, in high school, I remember reading an article that people in hospitals who journal heal faster. And I'm like, they're scribbling. Whether or not they think that that's what's happening, their body is doing a consistent motion while they're thinking about a problem. And I'm like, that's a wax on, wax off. You're doing laundry and you're meditating. It's consistent motion while you ponder a thing that processes. That's what I think anyway. Does anyone have thoughts or experiences on that?
I just feel like that's processing in real time. It's like in behind the curtain, we process physically. Then if we won't do that, then we have to process it mentally. Later, it will come back to the mind. If you won't do that, then your spirit has to split off and hold it. So if you just scribble it out, you're getting it out of the body, and it's like an adult tantrum, right? And it's so peaceful because you're not even saying words, and so you can just get the energy out without having to do anything wild like a child might. They just scream and freak out and kick their legs and hands.
I
For
like your
some reason,
term, adult tantrums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for some reason, this kind of reminds me of EMDR, and I'm curious if anybody's had an experience with that, and I have a little bit, and it was really just kind of surprising how like just moving your eyes back and forth, like
Oh,
what that does to release trauma or emotions or whatever. And it anyway, it just kind of reminds me of tapping a little bit. But
is that the one where it's like you close your eyes and visualize fish or something like that?
oh, I haven't done it that way. I guess there's
How
a
do you do it?
couple ways that you could do it. I mean, really, literally, you're moving your eyes back and forth. But there's other ways where you can like hold something and maybe have something in your ears, and you're listening to something, and the audio is going from the left ear to the right ear, and
Hmm.
but it stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and the idea is that yeah, it creates this stimulation and it can
Ooh,
heal
it's that motion.
traumatic experiences. Yeah, it's kind of, I
Hmm.
think they're related somehow. So anyway, I think that's really cool.
Wow. I bet there's a whole lot of science behind all this
Yeah,
we're missing out on.
yeah.
It's actually so cool.
Well, I kind of want to go into this because I I think there's something interesting about, and I think Mike Stroud talks about this. I haven't listened to all of his stuff yet, but he kind of mentioned it. But there's this connection between, actually, Elder Gong talks about it recently in his AI stuff. There's this connection between God and self, and then the world and others. And so God, and I should turn on my camera, so I'm like moving my hands everywhere, but my hair is kind of a mess. So anyway, but God and is up and down, and then the world is in, people are back and forth. And so anyway, it's just kind of an interesting parallel, that the eye movement is back and forth, but um it's kind
Wow.
of interesting to me that the world uses this motion for scrolling.
Ah, interesting.
And it's kind of like, are we not connecting with God and replacing that with scrolling? Anyway,
Mm, yeah,
my daughter's here and
where
she's
where
going to be
your heart
like,
is.
what?
And
That's
talking about the eye motion, not only does that connect in with rapid eye movement and different kinds of therapy that way, but but if you do, again, you can go online and research this, but there's all kinds of somatic movements or different things that stimulate the vagus nerve that involve moving your eye back and forth. Not so much back and forth that way, but like here and then there, to the various like different places on a clock, and then going to the other side and doing that. And but yes, even back and forth, there's so many things you can do that stimulate the vagus nerve, and those things all tell our bodies that we can relax, that we're not in danger, that kind of like an animal that's just escaped a dangerous situation and you see them shake themselves off. We don't do that. At least we're not taught to do that. And these movements that are strengthening and stimulating our vagus nerve tell our bodies it's okay, we're good, we're calm, we're safe. And we don't tell ourselves that enough. We're not taught to. And I think that's on purpose. I think that the world, just like with MK Ultra and different types of things that are fed into the school systems now, and different things like that to try to program us to not want to seek God, to not to feel panicky, things like that. Again, with the scribbling, Allie's scribbling, which I've used that and it's great. But also journaling is something that they discourage. Writing longhand, oh no, go on your keyboard, use that, but there's something about that helps calm stress, that helps us to feel safe, and that connects us with God. So anyway, there's so many good things out there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Gail, did you want to share something?
No, I was just no.
Okay. You just went off mute. So I love that. And I think like it's so applicable, um, becoming aware of what we're feeling. When I was reading Ali Douzette's book on magnetic femininity, I didn't finish it. I find that Heavenly Father's like, Noelle, you don't have to finish every book you pick up. It's okay. Don't judge yourself. Like there's no one's keeping score. And but I read what I feel like I needed to from that book. And one of those things was she was saying, women, we are barometers. We have far more sensors than men, and it's for a reason. It's not because we're better than them. We're made for a different purpose. We have more sensors on our fingers. We see more colors. We smell more smells. Our ability to hear is better, etc. Right? And um the she says that our superpower is to tap into those feelings, those intuitions, and be able to communicate with them, to say what they are, to know what they are, to discern. And as we do that, then the men around us can respond because they are made to respond to woman when she speaks what she feels. So I know that has almost nothing to do with way walking, but it is a really great mindfulness exercise where she says just every day take time to check in on yourself and see what you're feeling, what your body is telling you, what your heart and your mind are telling you, and be connected. Even if it is messy to process it, like it's heavy just being a person, but being a female, it can be a lot. Does anyone have anything on that? I'm seeing in the chat the word triggered.
I just feel like we all have a male and a female component, right? Mind and heart. And so this really isn't just a feminine thing. It's definitely something we all have to learn as we're coming to Christ. He's going to want us to see what's in our mind, what's in our heart. Like those areas have to become pure through him. And so we have to be willing to feel. We have to be willing to see what we're thinking. Like I feel like that's a huge part of way walking actually is just being willing to be aware and let Christ show you what's going on internally. so that you can heal. That's been my biggest experiences with Christ over the past probably 7 years, is just learning how to heal my body. And it's been a long process, but he's had to teach me step by step. And when I started, I told him, can you just tell me 3 things that I could do today? 3 very simple things, because I felt like garbage and I could hardly do anything. And my body was very sick, and there were so many problems that he had to walk me through step by step because it was just too much at once. And there were little things like drink water, practice gratitude, say your prayers, and then it would evolve to like, you need this supplement, you need to heal your gut, you need to go get these root canals pulled. And it was just so specific, but it took time for me to build that faith and and that was like physical body. And then we had to go deeper into my emotional body. And now we're working out all these kinks in my spirit where it's like, you have a lot of false beliefs, girlfriend. We got to get rid of these so that you can be who you are.
No man is saved in ignorance. That's what that sounds like to me. Like
Yeah.
work out your salvation, and that's what he's saying. I'm not gonna do it for you. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing, Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think that, like for me, I've been thrown into the masculine world so much, I have to work full time and was a single parent, raised my kids and had to be both, the father and the mother. But I've heard Megan Farner talk about embodiment, and I think I'm missing that a lot. I need to learn how, it's interesting, Chelsea, that you started with the body, right? Like, because I think I just ignore my body. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I got to keep going. I got this, and this to do. And so I think it's an important piece to embody, to feel, to notice our body, and to embody the spirit, how it feels, and all that. And then, like you're saying, progress to the spirit, the intellectual. Anyway, I just think the tapping and all these other modalities are good. I think they're helpful to help us, um, tap into embodiment, so to speak.
Love that. I'm glad this is applicable for people. It always makes me a little nervous when I don't plan, but you guys always just come with great stuff. So this is wonderful. And thank you for pointing out also, Chelsea, that this is also for men. You're right. It's we shouldn't gatekeep feelings.
I think we definitely model, though, how to be aware of them, how to process. Like, we give them permission almost. When we do it, then we're giving them permission because they might start feeling more safe when they see you do it. I noticed Ken had a comment in the chat. I was wondering what you meant by that, Ken. Does that work when we are triggered? Are we talking about EFT or scribbling, or what do you think talking about? I think you're muted.
Just the idea of like a traumatic event that occurs in one's life, and certain things pop up and trigger you, and you don't have any control. It just happens to you. And I guess my question is, does that tapping, or are there other methods to kind of distract the brain from what you're focusing on, which is the trauma, versus being able to just move on?
Yeah, for
Sherry's
sure.
shaking her head like she can help me out here.
Absolutely. I've had a lot of trauma that I'm 69, and it's only been the last year that I've learned how to really release a lot of these emotions and how to feel them in the moment. But I've worked through a lot of trauma issues. And when you're feeling it, when you're feeling triggered, that's the best time to tap or to scribble or these type of things. That's when you do it. If you can step away from the moment and realize you're being triggered. It releases it from your nervous system. It helps you be able to process, and you don't have to necessarily, and that may be the last time you feel that. You may have to go back and spend more time tapping on it or scribbling or, or maybe writing about it, writing it out. But yeah, these are to release it, not just to get through it or stuff it again, but these are to release it out. And then you give it to the Lord. He'll take it. He wants to take it. You can figure out visualizations like, putting it into living water going through you, putting it into the stream. You could, one of the things that I did was, it felt like a huge volcano that was about to explode. So I let it explode, and I sent out fireworks up into the sky, and it was everybody else's issues and not mine that were just going out, and it was gorgeous. And in this case, I had collected a lot of other people's emotions. I didn't realize it was their emotions because I was an unknowing empath. I was empathic, but I thought it was my feelings, and so I was just stuffing them and saving them. And so I let them all out, and I just sent them with angels to go take them back to whoever those feelings belonged with. But it was a massive volcano, and then it turned out to be really fun because it had fireworks coming out of it.
And then it was a party.
Yeah, it was great. So you can come up with these different things, but it's, I was giving it to the Lord, and he just passed it off to various angels to take it back to whoever that those feelings belonged with, because they weren't mine. But yeah, it's all about releasing it so that you don't have to be as traumatized anymore. And it might take a few sessions, but each time it whittles it down. It's like you'll have onion peels, or onions that, you have layers. Mm-hmm. Or if you want to do the Shrek bit, it's a parfait. But anyway, I raised too many kids.
That's awesome. Go
Thank
ahead,
you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm curious, we're talking about feeling trauma in the moment, like when we notice it's like, oh, this is stressful. And like my first thing is like, just stuff it, or just, I don't have time to deal with it right now. But those who have learned the behind the curtain technique, is that something you can just do in the moment to, like, instead of stuffing it, to like,
yes,
do a little session of that right there and then, if you can? I mean, are you taught to do that?
Have you received any behind the curtain work?
I haven't.
Okay, let's have a call. One experience I had was not today, but a different day. I had full-on anxiety in the middle of making lunch, and I just said, I need to do this now. And I knelt down, food's boiling on the stove, and I visualized my curtain, and there's a black hand holding it closed. And I swatted it away with light, because in Keith's method, you have a ball of light with you from Christ, and it can do anything because it's love and light and power and truth. And so you can turn it into something to clean, or you can turn it into a weapon to get the darkness away. And once it was gone, Christ was right there, and I felt better. Yes, you can do it in the moment, and it works. Sherry, you have a thought?
I was just going to say, one of the things, though, is that once you've gone through his process, if you're like me, and my go-to method of dealing was just creating or handing it off to holders, and none of them were taking over my life, but I wasn't feeling. It doesn't work anymore. You have to have these other techniques in place. They recommend having life skills type of training of some sort, because if you've spent your whole time just creating holding altars that are holding the feelings for you, or if you've gone through trauma, through major PTSD or CPTSD, as the case may be, you can't go back to that old thing. You can do like Noelle said, and you can have a ball of light that helps in different ways, but you've got to figure out new coping skills. And so this is a great time to practice, because many of the things that we've talked about right now, should be those who are practitioners should be making the list of recommendations for their clients, because the clients are going to need something to replace it with. And the sooner we learn those on our own, well, first of all, the less we need to create holding altars, but also the better we are going to be able to enjoy our lives in the process, and feel and stay connected, our hearts with the spirit and stuff like that. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking too much, but anyway.
What you're sharing is needed. It's applicable. You have me going on. I need to talk to Keith. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say too, if you're like in the moment, one thing that helps is to really just take 3 deep breaths. I found that 3 deep breaths is like a magic thing to connect your mind and heart. Because sometimes the mind's just racing and like spinning out, right? Or sometimes the heart is just pounding and like you're feeling so much emotion. And if you can take, and I like to do the breaths in a way where you breathe in and you hold. And you don't have to count like a certain amount of seconds, but I like to have the exhale be longer. And that will switch you from your fight or flight to your rest and digest. Okay. So that's the mode you need to be in order to think clearly, in order to maybe commune with God and say, I'm triggered right now. What's going on? Like, what is behind this? You know, you can talk to him about it, and you don't have to be able to see visually to be able to perceive the information that comes back to you. So just set the intention of something's coming up right now. Take those 3 breaths, connect mind and heart, and then just see what comes through for you. Because you may be surprised. He might say, you know, this issue started when you were 7. And you think, what? What happened? I don't remember being 7. You know, or like it's vague, right? And so and you may not need to know what even happened, but he'll say it goes back that far and we're going to heal all the way back and whatnot.
Just breathe.
Yeah. Really.
Sounds easy.
Yeah. But honestly, if you can hold it, breathe in, hold for just a few seconds, and then breathe out a little slower than you breathed in, it does switch your body.
Yeah.
And these are things that we should be teaching our children, so that they're learning how to regulate their emotions from as early on as we can, or teach our grandchildren or whatever. And there's all kinds of fun things that can be done, like with breathing. If I have a granddaughter who gets very worked up, she's bipolar, and she can just really get spinning. And when her mom tells her to just breathe, that flips her out even more. So what she'll do is she'll say, okay, she'll take a Kleenex and a tissue, and she'll put it up there, and she'll say, okay, try to keep with your breath, blow it, and let's have a contest. So, you know, a couple of them are having a contest, blowing, keeping it in the air. Or maybe you take a straw and you blow a ping pong ball races across the floor or across the table or things like that. Make it fun so that they don't think there's something like, oh yeah, there's something wrong with me, I need to breathe. You know what I mean?
That's so fun.
There are all kinds of fun ideas that you can do if you just think about it. And if you can involve multiple kids, then it's a game, or you do it with them and it's a game. And then you're giggling and you're laughing and it's like having kids who are fighting wash inside and outside of the window at the same time, and pretty soon they're not fighting anymore. There's different ways to work on these things, but if they're having fun while breathing, they're more likely to do it. My kids were taught to blow out the candles on a cake, you know, with 5 fingers.
With the fingers.
Yeah. I mean, it's just whatever works, but teach them young so that they know that they can, that they don't just have to be victims of their emotions taken over.
That's beautiful. Oh, I love that. I'm going to teach that to my kids. I'm going to use that tissue one. It's so awesome.
It's just so silly and so fun. Yeah.
And so you're reminding me, I wonder if I can find it. Let me share my screen actually. There is something I wanted to show you. I am remembering. So you guys remember the Scripture Chase app that Brian made? He did officially change it so that there's no invite code anymore. Everyone can make an account if they want to, so you can share this more easily with your friends. So I was skimming around today. Sorry, our faces are in the way. And I found in my, is it the chains part? I hope it's this one. I made topics for studying the Nemenhah, and one of them was about teaching your children to put off the world. I don't know actually if it was in here. Here, I'm gonna put off the world. We're just gonna see if we can find it. Teach our children. Um, Meditate. Ah, here we go. Found it. I love that. This search engine is so great. Okay, so it is for this cause that the mothers and the fathers of the children of the Nemenhah do teach their little ones to set aside all distraction and to ponder and meditate upon holy things. And this exercise is most instructive, for it teaches a great principle. Yea, it gives the young person much experience in casting off the things of the world and preparing to see the face of God. I think actually, and we become a new creature. This is reminding me of what we were talking about earlier. Like Chelsea, you were going through your whole first, I'm going to fix my body, and now I'm going to fix my spirit. We are being changed as we remove these things from us. Um, and I actually, do you guys want to read some of this, or do you have anything that you want to? Um, to be born of the Spirit is to have sealed in us the very image of his countenance. In other words, that which we only borrow in mortality may be made ours for all eternity. Behold, is this not a mighty change? In this way, we are able to bear his presence because we are born of the Spirit. Yea, we are carried by the Holy Ghost into his presence and may then be presented by him at the veil of heaven, having the mortal veil removed from off our bodies. If we are using all these practices that we've been talking about and remove the body as a distraction without dying, then that makes way walking possible. That makes entering into his presence possible because our body is not so loud. If that makes sense. Um, anyway, I just wanted to look at that. Does anyone have other things that are on your hearts, on your minds about walking on the way or oh, I do want to ask for you ladies that are here, what's your experience with meditation in general? Because somebody texted me today and said, I've been reading all those books on the Pure Revelations website, and they're great, but it is a little bit geared towards men and their experience. But what is it for women? What are the nuances for meditating?
On the Pure Revelations website, one of the tabs is his wife, and she writes a little bit, and maybe there's something there. I don't know. I noticed that, and I started reading that 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember how long. Anyway, I haven't been back to it since then. Anyway, it's just a possible
Mhm.
option. There might be something there um,
Okay,
of how she, applies the things, to walk upon the way and etc.
that's
Um,
cool. I'll have to take a look at that. Thank you. Anyone else on meditation for women? Is it actually meditation? Is it something else entirely? Like, is that even a word we would use for what we experience?
I would just say that it's very different, and that's okay. And we know that we're very different than men. And I think that they can have a very focused experience and they can get into a point of coming into God's presence easier. At least from the men I know who are working at this, it seems to be going that way. Um, and even Mike Stroud, I talked to him and Margie on the phone, and it it is not easy for Margie to visualize, and it hasn't been for a long time. And so she used to feel really bad about that and feel like she was less than. But Mike said he could say something to her and she could finish the sentence. Like her discernment was so spot on and she could receive things from the spirit so clearly, but she didn't visualize. And so I think it's very important to not get caught up in the visualizing, because as women, we are perceiving so much information in the world around us. We don't need to see to know what's happening. And like Sherry was talking about being an empath and how when she goes out, she picks up all of this emotion and energy from other people. And that's a very feminine thing to do. And so I feel like we need to give ourselves grace and stop worrying about visualizing. Just say, what is God giving me right now? What am I receiving? What am I discerning?
And Mike says that that part of the problem is that women are so geared towards multitasking, and that gets in the way. I know I was listening to, oh boy, can't remember. It was somebody who's an expert and who teaches it. You all would know his name probably if I could think of it. Anyway, he was talking about teaching meditation and learning it from Buddhist monks. And he was saying that the big thing was like, as you're trying to meditate, if you hear a noise like, oh, there's a dog barking, just notice it. Don't try to force it out of your mind. Just acknowledge, oh, dog barking, come back to it, and then come back. Don't get caught on the barking of the dog. Don't get irritated. Just
Right.
acknowledge,
Let it be.
and then come back. And but boy, my mind goes so much farther than just a noise. It goes wandering, problem solving, and doing other things. That it's
Mhm.
it's like I just got to look that up. I have Google here.
Okay.
I
With
need
you,
that
the
answer
way
now.
you just said that.
And so you have to say, you know what? I'll come back to that maybe. If it's important, the Lord will bring it back to me. It's okay. And he usually does eventually, 3 o'clock in the morning, but eventually.
Right.
I
But
don't know. I don't succeed at it, so I don't know what to tell you. I just
so
do other things.
right. So like I love that you brought up that specific example of, oh, I should have looked that up. Sometimes when I'm journal way walking, I'm like in the zone, I'm meditating, but then he'll say something. I'm like, I'm gonna go Google that. And I do. And then I get right back and it's like we left off. He was waiting there patiently. He's still there. And I wonder if part of it is as women, and we know that we're hopping in and out, multitasking, we can just be confident that he's there. That I know he's still there, so I don't need to beat myself up as if there's one box and one opportunity to talk to him. I don't know. That's how I feel.
I just think about the scriptures and how men are always going up into a quiet place, a mountain and a wilderness. They're separating themselves from the world. And that is the pattern. God meets them there. But with women, he comes right to where they are serving their families because they're taking care of babies and they're taking care of elderly parents and they're just taking care of everyone. And so he shows up at the well where they're getting water and he comes to them. And I've had so many sacred experiences over the years doing a simple task for my family where God just came and talked to me, and I just felt his presence so strong. So he comes to where we are. And I feel like, yeah, like you said, we can be in the middle of a beautiful, profound experience and a child needs us right then. And we can stop and take care of that child and come right back. And it's totally just part of our nature and it's okay.
That's so nice of God. Thank
Yeah.
you. You're making me think of when Lacey Bangeter did an episode on Esther. I think it was the Zion Media one that she did, one of them. She was talking about how Esther to her represents a women's experience. She says that um, Esther did fasting and she did these special meals as a gift beforehand. And then when she went to the king to really say, "Hey, I need something from you," the king was like, "I'll give you anything. I'm ready. I know that you've done the work and you're here." And so Lacey was like, as women, our sacrifice, yes, it's those actions, but it's also the blood sacrifice and that we're making monthly and how we carry the burdens of our families. We have the DNA of our husband and his family and of our children. So we are the link. And so when we come to them to God on their behalf, he knows we're carrying it and he meets us there. I love that. I want to go back and listen to that episode.
So, Noel,
Yeah.
as the only guy that I can see that's still on here.
Lance is here.
Oh, okay. Hey, Lance, thank you. Thank you. I need that manliness.
Alone, Ken.
All I can say is don't leave us behind, because Zion will not be built without our focus and our problem solving and
Yeah.
everything else we want to do for women.
Yes. Can I just say, I'm glad you mentioned that. So that it's the male and female together that they do need each other. When I speak to Heidi Caudle, and it's been a while, but this stood out to me. When she would talk about the future and creating Zion, she said that the women will come together in a sacred, like she didn't call it an organization, but she said the women will come together as a council. And this was before she learned about the Nemanah or anything, and that the men would step up in a very special protective role because what the women are doing is something sacred, and the men will be surrounding them, protecting that space. And it feeds off of each other. I think like I constantly am thinking of the peace sign where it's the white with the black dot. It's the black with the white dot. And it cannot roll if there's just one. You have to have them both. We can't function without our men building and making all these things possible. So I am grateful.
Well, and if women approach us correctly, our manhood will come out, and it needs to come out. And women inspire us. We'll do anything.
Mhm.
It just Zion will be built by couples and men and women working together, unified.
Yeah. You're reminding me in Magnetic Femininity. And that book came to me at the time that like I needed it and God literally plopped it in my lap. Someone I learned about it and I said, "Should I buy it right now on Amazon?" And God's like, "Wait for just a minute." And like the next day I visited a friend and I saw it on her shelf and she gave it to me. And I was like, "Oh, I just had to wait for one day." And in it was talking about how when women learn how to speak their feelings and their men respond, um, it shows the men, "I trust you with this, and I trust that you can do something about it." She gave an example of the lots of examples of the bad way to do this and the good way to do this. She said the bad way is to share your feelings in an accusatory way with a story.
Mhm.
So like, "I feel abandoned that you didn't take me out to lunch with you." And she's like, abandoned is not a feeling. That's an action. Okay. What you feel is lonely. What you feel is sad. So like isolate the feeling, take away the story. Don't play the blame game. Just say, "I'm feeling sad," right? And so she gave an example and she's like, one time her yard had so many weeds, really tall grass, it hadn't been mowed in a while. And she's like, "I could have just told him how to solve this problem. Go mow the lawn." But that does not give him that feeling of, I'm the hero in this moment. I am helping my family and I'm using my ideas on how to do that. Instead, she says, "Okay, I'm going to step into my feelings. Honey, I feel stressed." And he's like, "Oh, why do you feel stressed?" "We're just cooped up in the house. The kids have just been so like bouncing off the walls in here." "Oh, why is that?" "It's just not safe in the yard right now." None of that. She did not mention him once.
Yep.
She did not mention a to-do list at all. And he goes, I'll mow the lawn. And he feels good about it. She feels good about it. Problems solved. And I when I read that, I like sobbed because I could remember so many times that I would be like crying in the bathroom and my husband just comes and listens to me. And he'll be like, "Honey, you just told me 16 things that you're carrying that are weighing you down. Let me help you." And he won't do it the way I would have done it, but it still helps. And I'm like, wow, like our husbands are amazing. They can step up when we trust them enough to do that. So,
You can make us into kings, or you have the ability to destroy us.
yeah. Yeah.
Women are powerful.
Unfortunately. And fortunately. Let me not say it like that. Yeah. Oh,
I'm
it's
wondering what Maria and Deanne are thinking. You're so quiet tonight.
We're on fire here in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. I've got a lot of thoughts. I did make that comment today on, um, I just, mine is just a little bit, it is about way walking for sure. Um, let's see, what did I share? Like there's so much to do. Like like probably everybody here, I strive to be obedient and all this stuff. And, um, I've just been, it feels like it's been presented to me a lot of you still need to live and you need to, well, no, not people telling me that, but me saying, oh, I haven't been making choices that are placed before me. I just stay where it's comfortable and what I'm used to. And I read I think it was in the one of the prayer revelations about opening your spiritual eye, and he talks about um, the talents, about uh, what you do with your talents and how God makes something out of nothing. So go use your talent, go out and live and take this talent because God will make something out of it, whether you make a right choice about it, he'll make it into something. So maybe this is just my own wacko interpretation, but it's just, to me, it's just like go out, make mistakes, maybe even do something that aren't supposed to do. Just go do something that you've always thought you shouldn't do and learn from it, And so I am almost on that flip side of like telling my husband, you might see me doing some weird things, and you might be even shocked, but I just want to try some things because I'm here to make choices
Wow.
and to hold space for me. I know that you are safe and you will keep me safe, and he doesn't judge.
Wow.
And just like, and these are just thoughts that I have in my mind. I don't know what really. I have lived in the box for so long. I mean, a long time.
Mhm.
And so this is what's coming to my mind. Like, I don't want to be done and go, oh my gosh, I could have done that and been okay. Or I could have, you know, um, I just, yeah. So I'm just thinking about that and what he wants for me. And I listen to all these podcasts of different people of all faiths and recognize that the promises made to them are the same promises that have been made to me. And people who don't even try and maybe not even know about God they're getting baptism of fire experiences. Like they're getting witnesses. And so I'm like, okay, so why am I saying why so it's like weeding out, like why am I thinking it has to be done within this path? You know what I'm talking about? The path. Uh and maybe he wants me to just I don't know. I'm not sitting here and I'm gonna go get tatted and pierced, but I'm just saying I
Just do it,
I'm
Maria.
thinking
It's
that
the little one. Just kidding.
I should look at things a little differently, just look at you know what I mean? I have a good friend that she went into a guided meditation and she hadn't meditated much before, but so she had a guided meditation and her friend and she has a knack for it. So she was gifted. So she goes deep into this meditation and God leads her into this room and it's a huge wall with all these shelves on it. And she was wondering what they were. And he told her, these are all the choices that you have to make. You can make all these choices. Like there were just hundreds of things that she could choose. He wasn't going to condemn her for it. He wasn't going to, he was still going to be there. He still loved her. She's going to be okay. And she has all these choices that she could make and learn from. And not any of the choices were wrong. I mean, she may have looked at it and go, "Oh, I could do that," but he was like, "Yeah, you could do that." So I'm just in this floating area of like,
You're looking at life a lot different.
yeah.
You're reminding me of caterpillar goop in the chrysalis. Is you're restructuring, you're figuring out what am I capable of? What does God think I'm capable of? And then when you're done, you'll be able to do things you've never been able to do before. Even a caterpillar can't procreate. So isn't that interesting in that analogy that a butterfly suddenly can do things and create things that it never could have before? I think that's beautiful, Maria. Thank you. Did you have any remaining thoughts on that?
No, not really. Just I'm just wondering if anybody, I do kind of wonder if anybody's thinking of that. I mean, just it almost sounds like kind of a wild hair. Like I'm just like, uh, like what would happen if I have a child that just entered the room. So what would happen if I just did this thing that I
Uh-huh.
would never have even thought of doing before, that was within the bounds of morality, still, of course,
Mhm.
but maybe not within the bounds of something else I've been taught all my life.
Mhm.
Well, it's
And
letting
am I going
go
to
of
be okay?
Mhm.
it's letting go of perfectionism. It's letting
Hmm.
go of, like you talked about the box. There's a lot within the church. There's a lot of cultural doctrine that's not really doctrine. There's cultural ways of doing things that, you know, okay, like I'm gonna be really out there. I believe the word of wisdom
I was gonna
is
say that too.
it is individual for each person. I believe that there's things that are like, I've been guided to use green tea and to make green tea, and that this was something that was healthy for my body, not so much at the moment now, but there was a time, there was a phase, or the Lord's taking me through being carnivore for a while and not so much anymore. But we go through these different healing phases, and I've learned that it's much more important for me to talk with the Lord and find out what is
Which
appropriate for me,
Mhm.
rather than fitting into a box that says that we're not even sure how to interpret that in the first place. I mean,
Mhm.
there's just so many different interpretations, and people, it's the hill they're going to die on. their interpretation. And you know, find out what the Lord wants you to be doing. And it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks, as long as you say, it's not, who was it? Was it David that was talking about the 10 Commandments being our boundaries, to that, we're safe with, as long as we're staying within the 10 Commandments. There's a lot of wiggle room for a lot of choices.
I think, yeah, the biggest commandment is love, right? So
Right?
tons of wiggle room.
So I'm just curious, Maria, what's the box that you have felt you had to live in?
Um,
If you can explain that, I'm sorry.
Is it church
yeah,
culture? Should I say it for you?
yeah. Can you say it for me?
Church culture.
Yeah, good girl.
Very.
Goody two shoes, that would be me.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I think a lot of us are there. I guess my question or my concern is my concern is making sure that I'm hearing the right voice and identifying correctly what the Lord wants me to do. There's a lot of philosophies going on out there of do whatever you want, do whatever feels
yeah.
good. I mean, furries, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's different philosophies out there that are absolutely wrong. And so where's that line of I'm comfortable that this is direction from the Lord for me, and it doesn't cross the boundary of you know totally leading me astray. I grew up very conservative, LDS. I'm an outside the box thinker at this point. The rest of my siblings are not. I've got a brother that's stake president, a brother that's a stake patriarch. Um, so it's kind of an awkward place to be, but I followed what I feel is right for me.
What's that scripture? And after you open the gate, Christ will give you his doctrine for you. Like it's personalized. And Deanne, did you have anything that you wanted to share? I do want to make space that everyone gets an opportunity to say what they feel they need to.
Well, I've just loved listening to everything. I loved what you just barely said, that um kind of the church has kind of talked about the covenant path is how they interpret Second Nephi 31 and 32. But I like that then the gate opens and it's your own personal revelation, your own personal learning. I like that a lot. And in the beginning, when everyone was talking about I don't remember exactly the things that are being talked about, just before I came on, I was listening to How to Potty Train an Autistic Child.
Aw.
And it's all about helping them. The concept is interoception, how to notice your bodily feelings. And instead of externally potty training them, like prizes and motivation, like you're doing it to them, help them understand those body sensations so that they can figure it out on their own. Anyway, it kind of tied in.
Yeah, I love that.
In the beginning of learning how our bodies feel and the different things everyone's experiencing. So anyway, that's my unspiritual way.
No, you're good. My goodness.
But anyway, I like that idea of keeping their autonomy during potty training and not doing it to them, but helping them do it themselves.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you. Thank you everyone for sharing. I'm curious. This is just barely coming to me. Do you guys want to have a gathering sometime? I want to do this all day and I don't feel like 1 hour at a time is even enough. Um, is Utah an okay place to have the gathering? Maria and Deanne. Can we steal you again?
Well, we only go one time each year, and we've already been our one time.
What if we pay for your ticket? We can get a GoFundMe for
Aw, well, that would be sweet. But a lot of it is like time factor with things that events and stuff that we've got going on here.
Okay.
But I loved that so much. I loved that
Mhm.
so much.
Thank
There was something magical about being there that really doesn't happen in these, even though these are awesome.
Yeah, it is different.
What I like about these is we can go back and see them again.
I agree. So one thought I have is if we do have an in-person gathering at some point, I would like to, as much as possible, have it recorded. And make it like a general conference. Not really. I'm just saying that for the sake of connecting as many people as we can.
You just triggered me, Noelle. I gotta go scribble.
Well, I would love it because I wouldn't be there.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do. I'll probably just put it in the chat and get some votes. But thank you, everyone. Thank you. I feel very uplifted right now.
Is this time better for people an hour later
I'm okay with this
in
time.
general?
I think it's better for us.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat for a consistent change. And if I forget, remind me, okay? If I'm like 7 o'clock, you're like, no, do it. Just tell me. All right. Who would like to offer a closing prayer for us? Oh man, my neck.
Wow, we're just like all gonna wait.
Maybe
I
Lance
just do it.
should. I was gonna
Oh
say
yeah, I told him, but
you
he just
have
gave me a
not
look like
said very much.
I saw
She
Chelsea
does
look
it.
at Lance. I think Lance has got some pressure going on.
Yes, yes.
I did it.
I'd be glad to say it.
Thanks.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful for today. We're thankful for this opportunity to gather as friends and to discuss these wonderful blessings in our lives and ways we can commune with Thee further and walk upon the way and be instructed. We're thankful for all of our blessings. We're grateful for this community that we have found and for others who are seeking Thy face and Thy will in their lives. We thank Thee for Thy Son, Jesus Christ, and for His infinite atonement. And we ask that Thou bless us tonight and the rest of the week to be able to take these things into our hearts and ponder them and learn more from Thee and look for ways to apply them. And please help us to bless those around us and to keep Thee in our hearts always. And we humbly ask these things and say them in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Love you all.
Thanks, Noelle.
See you later. Yep.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.